Digimon Ghost Game episode 28 shows us an evolution failing for the first time in the series, but what does that mean? What are the consequences? Were Hiro and Gammamon trying to hit Mega just there? It all had to do with overpowering the Vital Bracelet, pouring too much energy into the battle, like pumping up a ball or a tire too much to the point that it pops. That's kind of what happened when Hiro and Gammamon tried to give Kano Weissmon even more power, but pushed a little too hard. We'll talk about that scene and more in this week's episode 28 review on the Digino. If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe if you like hearing about Digimon every single week. This review is going to be shorter than normal because I drove someone to the airport at 4 a.m. I'm on no sleep and my internal clock is a little messed up right now, so I'll deliver all the points I need to hit, but I'll keep it short. If you're wishing for more content from me this week, go watch the video I put out on Friday about the Vital Bracelet news. We are finally getting an English language release of the Vital Bracelet Digivice. It's being rebranded the Vital Hero for North America, and it's going to be on Amazon and whatnot. On June 16th, we'll also get more news about what is being called the Vital Bracelet B. We don't know what it is yet, but yeah, go watch my Vital Hero video from Friday for all that info and more. The link will be in the pinned comment. As for episode 28, this was a marked improvement over 27, which I stated last week was my least favorite Ghost Game episode. As the dust has settled, I still think that's true. 27 was the least remarkable of the whole series, in my opinion, and I'm glad 28 offered something a little more unique with this face-stealing Digimon Ashurumon. There was some genuinely unsettling sights and cool scenarios, nice team-ups like Angoramon riding on Cassette Man's back, the evolution failure like I mentioned at the top of the video, and more. We start with Kota Nomura, one of the boys' dorm mates, being locked in his room for 2 days straight. When we go to check in on him, we realize his face has been stolen and replaced by a creepy mask. It almost looks like Myotismon's mask, but there's no connection. It's unrelated. I saw someone theorizing last week that maybe Myotismon had returned. We share the news with the team that Nomura is down, and Angoramon asks about this at his Midnight Society to see if anyone knows anything. I continue to love this element of Ghost Game. I think Angoramon's little midnight meetings are one of my favorite character elements for Digimon ever. It's still so cool to me that he has his own separate ongoing group of peers outside of the main cast. They ask if there are any other human victims, which is when we shift perspectives to just that, the next human victim. Ashurumon takes a basketball player's face, and it's the first time we see quite a creepy element in this episode where Ashurumon doesn't just like absorb their power when he takes their face. Here he literally wears the face, so it's like this hulking Digimon body with a teenage human's face. Pretty unsettling. He loves the feeling of excitement that humans sometimes feel, and he's been stealing their faces during that exact moment of bliss to experience and feed off of that energy. Next, he pretty easily gets Kiyoshiro and Ruli's faces, experiencing human fear and human courage. At this point in the episode, Jellymon kind of bails to take care of Kyo, but Angoramon continues to stick with Gammamon and Hiro, which gives us the great scene of the trio flying together, and at one point Angoramon sitting on Cassette Gammamon's back, which is pretty funny and pretty great. Looking to experience as many emotions as possible in the shortest amount of time, Ashurumon heads to a local soccer stadium. I thought this was a great idea for the third act. It's really a great idea and a great place to go if you're Ashurumon trying to experience emotions, and the stadium is a cool arena for a big confrontation. Before the face stealer can steal more faces though, Hiro traps him in the AR field so that he can't touch any humans except for Hiro, that is. So now Hiro is the #1 target, basically, being the only human in the AR field. Kaos evolves to Kano Weissmon, and it seems like all is going well, but Hiro needs to pour energy into a Vital Bracelet to boost Kano, and something happens where the blue backdrop of the VB turns red, and then Kano's evolution shatters like glass, and he comes back out as Cassette Gammamon. Now, I'll be honest with you, I thought something worse was going to happen when the backdrop went red, but this was still interesting. Angoramon shouts the evolution failed. I always like the idea that evolutions are still burning gas, and that it should be harder to maintain a higher evolution form, so I guess the boys poured too much of themselves into the battle and just burned out. I thought maybe there'd be like a Ghoulish themed dark Kano Weissmon or something wild like that, but I guess it wasn't meant to be. With our Digimon team down for the count and Hiro out of gas, Ashurumon grabs him and actually succeeds in stealing his face. I was wondering how this episode would end with only a few minutes on the clock left. It was kind of interesting to see Ashurumon succeed in stealing Hiro's face, and when he experiences the emotions that Hiro was overcome with in that moment, it's not fear or anger, but it's actually the feeling of needing to protect and being a good boy. So Ashurumon has no choice but to empathize, be kind, and he willingly returns all the faces. While it could have been cool to see, a really dark cliffhanger here, I will say I thought this resolution was clever at the very least. We know at this point, 28 episodes in, that these are generally one-off, one-shot stories, and so wrapping up abruptly should come as no surprise. Knowing that they were going to wrap this up in 22 minutes no matter what, I was pretty impressed with the resolution. Almost the twist that this monster stealing human emotion would work his way through fear and excitement and rage, and eventually would experience empathy. It's kind of nice, and it reminds you that humans aren't just happy, angry, scared. We're more complex than that. Angoramon then invites Ashurumon to join his midnight meeting, saying he may be able to experience various emotions by attending without needing to steal humans' faces to do so. It's a nice conclusion for sure, and everyone gets their faces back. Like I said, a much better episode than last week's in my opinion. I was quite happy with this one. Even though it's a shorter review, I thought 28 was a well-needed reminder that the show creators aren't out of ideas or out of gas quite yet, which is great news for fans obviously, because the last last thing any of us want is for the show to just decline in quality and we all kind of slowly give up on it one by one. I'm still looking forward to where this goes and still viewing it as a higher quality season of Digimon overall. Let me know what you thought about this one, if you expected more from the evolution failure scene, the Vital Bracelet overload or whatever that was. Reminder, do me a favor and check out my video on the Vital Bracelet Vital Hero, especially if you thought this video was too short. There was a ton of Vital Bracelet news last week and I did my best to condense it all into a 4-minute video for you all. Thanks for watching, subscribe if you haven't already, have a great week, and I'll see you in the next video.